say information is power, but to Cecilia Ikwe, information was a full-time ministry. She didn't need a degree in journalism. Her certificate came from years of moving from one compound to the next, collecting premium gists the way children collect stones. If there was a whisper within 20 meters, Cecilia's ears would catch it. She wasn't just a gossip, she was the headquarters of news. Cecilia didn't walk into places quietly. She entered with presence like a CCTV camera with legs and tribal marks. She would smile at you sweetly, greet your children, compliment your outfit, and by the time she leaves, she already knows who you are owing, who beat who last week, and what time your husband came back home last night. She could gather information with no pressure, and when she was done, she would share it with the urgency of NTA breaking news. Whether it was true, half true, or outright cooked, it didn't matter as long as it was sweet. Her favorite phrase was, "Please don't say it was me that told you." And just like that, she would scatter marriages, break relationships, and sip zobo like nothing had happened. People feared her mouth more than they feared thunder. If she passed by and your gate was open, you would quickly close it. If she knocked, you would pretend nobody was home, but she always had a way of sneaking in. She wasn't entirely wicked, she was just dangerously curious. If Cecilia wanted to braid her hair, she wouldn't just walk into any salon. No, not her. She believed that salons with only one customer were information dry, because to her, hair wasn't just about beauty, it was about data collection. So every Saturday she would stroll into the busiest salon in town, the one near the junction where 5 women could be arguing over marriage, bleaching cream, and side chicks at the same time. That's the one she liked. The louder the better, and the messier the sweeter. She would stand at the door for a minute like a prophet surveying the land, scanning faces with a holy smile. The hairdressers would roll their eyes. They already knew what was coming. "Sit here, Auntie," one of them would say, pointing to a chair. But Cecilia wouldn't sit immediately. She would first inspect which group was already deep in conversation. If one group was whispering about someone's cheating husband and another group was arguing about a lady that did body surgery, she would choose her seat with purpose, like a soldier choosing a battlefield. And once she sat, she wouldn't rush to pick a style. Instead, she would lean forward, take a proper position, and boom, she had entered like current through wire. The funniest part? She would start adding Maggi and salt to the conversation she wasn't even present for. "That man you were talking about. I know his wife now. I mean his first wife. She left him in 2006 when he couldn't control his zip. And before you know it, the gist would develop branches and stems." Cecilia could braid her hair from morning to night just to finish hearing gist. If the customer ahead of her was delaying, she wouldn't complain. At some point, even the hairdressers would start looking for gist to give her just to keep her entertained. And by the time she leaves that salon, not only will she go home with fresh Ghana weaving, she will also go home with 7 new scandals, 3 marital updates, and ready to spread them like Harmattan fire. One morning, Cecilia overdid herself. She wasn't even supposed to be on that street. She had only come to buy omo from Mama Ebom's corner, but the moment she spotted a familiar face, her antenna shot up. She saw a young man named Dennis, neatly dressed, soft-spoken, and one of those few bachelors left who still had good home training and serious marriage plans. He had come to see his tailor. But when Cecilia saw him standing somewhere, talking and laughing with a slim, elegant lady in a brown gown, her spirit jumped. "Ah, so this is the one," she whispered to herself, eyes narrowing like binoculars. "So, this is the lady he wants to marry. Like seriously? Now wow! See how life can be very funny." She didn't wait to confirm anything. Her mind had already manufactured a full backstory. You see, weeks earlier, Cecilia had overheard a gist in her salon about a girl who had removed 4 pregnancies and allegedly lost her womb. The guest description sounded somewhat similar to the one Dennis was now talking to. Keyword, somewhat. But to Cecilia, somewhat was enough evidence. She wasted no time. That same afternoon, while Dennis was buying airtime at the roadside store, she stood beside him like a well-meaning village auntie and leaned in. Hi, Dennis. I hope you know what you are doing. Oh. That's your fiancé. I am not one of those people that does cho. But please, look very well before you leap. Some things you say in rapper now will open a marriage and turn to prayer points. I am only doing this because there is no one in this era that doesn't know that you are from a good home and among the few who are well behaved. Dennis frowned. Ma, I don't understand what you are saying, please. She dropped the bomb casually as if she was talking about the weather. She's beautiful. Yes. But whom? I am not sure. I just hope you have done your findings very well because what I heard about her has to do with a record of abortions. May God guide you. Then she walked off like a spiritual counselor who had just saved his soul. Dennis didn't say anything, but her words festered like acid on his mind. By evening, he had called off the introduction ceremony. The poor girl Machi was blindsided. She cried. She begged. She swore she had never had any abortion. She even offered to go for a full fertility scan, but Dennis had already been poisoned by Cecilia's misinformation. 3 days later, after Machi's friend confronted Cecilia at the market, it was discovered that she had mistaken Machi for another girl entirely. Same body shape, same height, but completely different people. Ah, it's not the same girl. So Machi is not the one from Amber's side. Chai, the devil is a liar, oh. But it was too late. Machi's relationship had already ended. Dennis felt bad. He hated himself for being cheaply deceived. But he couldn't look at Machi in the eye anymore because her trust for him had already been buried. As Cecilia, she refused to accept blame. She simply said, I only spoke from concern with what I heard. Come to think of it, what if it was true? And besides, why didn't he confirm it? Why did he act on it? See, I was rating that boy before, but with this his action, I now see him as a boy. But the area did not forget. From that day, she earned a new nickname, Mouth Without Filter. Where Cecilia knew everything about everyone, nobody knew anything meaningful about her, not because she was private, but because there was simply nothing to know. She was 36, going on 37, unmarried, unengaged, and not even confused, because to be confused, you must have something to consider. Cecilia had nothing. Every man who had once shown interest in her had quietly vanished, sometimes even blocking her number the same week. And you couldn't blame them because somehow, the same man she used to destroy others was the same one she used to embarrass herself in front of potential husbands. Once, a man took her out for lunch. She casually told him, I hope your mother is not too involved in your life, oh, because you look like all these men that still report to their mothers every day. The man nearly choked on his drink. That was their first and last outing. Cecilia had no business, no handwork, no personal hustle. She worked as a front desk assistant at a local cooperative society, a job she got through one of her uncles. But even that job was hanging by a thread, because the same mouth that couldn't mind her business at home couldn't keep quiet at the office either. She told a pregnant colleague that her stomach was too low and it looked like the child might not make it. She told the manager's wife at the staff Christmas party that she once saw her husband laughing too closely with another woman at ShopRite. The whole workplace became tense anytime she entered. One Monday morning, her boss walked in with a firm voice. Cecilia, please pack your things. This is your last day here. We are restructuring. Of course, restructuring was just a code he used for. Your mouth has finished everybody here. She left with plastic rage in her eyes, muttering as she dragged her cheap handbag out the gates. They are just intimidated. Nobody wants to hear the truth again. One day they will remember me. But deep down, even she knew that her life was stuck. When she was busy carrying people's secrets like a market basket, her own basket was empty. No peace, no promotion, and no partner. She has spent so many years watching other people's life move forward that she didn't realize hers was frozen in the same spot. Because when your tongue becomes a weapon, you stop building your own destiny and start helping the devil destroy others. If trouble doesn't come, Cecilia will go and look for it. She didn't like peace at all. To her, peace is boring. Peace is silent, and in a silent environment, her brain will start itching like an untreated dandruff. So, on days when her compound was quiet, when Mama Ngozi had traveled, when Mr. and Mrs. Jide hadn't fought in 3 days, and no one had mistakenly shouted at their child in public, Cecilia would turn to her real battlefield. And you guessed right, the social media. She will log into Facebook with her cheap Android phone and cheap midnight data bundle like a journalist on assignment. She will jump from one post to another, from one comment section to the next, scanning, sniffing, analyzing and waiting to catch the scent of drama. Once she sees any dragging happening online, let's say someone accusing their friend of betrayal, a baby mama cursing her ex, or two vendors fighting over fake bar sales, Cecilia will smile like she just saw peppered pomo. Hey, now we are talking. Let me help them stay small. She will slide into the comment section, drop one small bombshell like, but is she even truly your friend? Because if my friend tries what she did, I would have arrested her. Or, I know someone she dated before. This is not her first scandal. People just don't know the full gist yet. She will drop comments under both parties, fueling the fire on both ends. Then sit back, wrap her wrapper around her chest, sip garri and granite and watch the fire spread. People will be typing angry essays and insults at each other while Cecilia will be screenshotting, laughing and forwarding it. What they didn't know was that Cecilia had nothing to lose. No business they could boycott. No relationship they could ruin. No dignity they could drag because she already dragged herself daily with her own mouth. The people fighting were baring their secrets, burning bridges and embarrassing themselves online, but the fuel that ignited them, Cecilia, she will laugh and say, people don't know it's all entertainment. Tomorrow they will settle, but their dirty linen had already scattered outside. And what she never realized was that you cannot keep stirring poison without tasting it someday. Because eventually, the same internet she used to fuel others down for will expose her own secrets. For months, Cecilia had been going about her ministry of mischief with pride. She never hid. She never whispered. She believed she was untouchable. She thought she was the custodian of secrets, the voice of the streets and the unpaid presenter of who did what and where. But someone had been watching her, quietly, patiently and strategically. Her name was Deborah, a tech-savvy, calm-faced young lady who had once been one of Cecilia's victims. You see, Cecilia had once lied that Deborah's boutique was selling used clothes as new, and that she snatched someone's sugar daddy in 2021. The lies cost Deborah clients, dignity and peace of mind, but Deborah didn't fight. She smiled and then she started gathering evidence. Screenshots, voice notes, comment threads, Facebook shares and receipts upon receipts. For 8 solid months, Deborah became a silent detective, waiting patiently for the perfect time. And one day, Cecilia finally walked into that trap. She commented under a trending Facebook post about women who snatch other women's men, and as usual, she dropped one hotline. Some girls are selling clothes on IG today, but people don't know the men they have buried spiritually to get customers. The post had no names, but the subtle jab was loud enough for those who knew. Deborah replied immediately, Auntie Cecilia, today is the day we remove your wrapper publicly. Shall we? And she did. One by one, Deborah released the evidence. Cecilia gossiping about married women in her compound. Cecilia fueling Facebook fights with fake information. Cecilia's toxic comments under anonymous accounts. Voice notes of her giggling and saying, I just want to scatter everywhere a little. And the worst? A screenshot of her mocking a forensic mother just to sound relevant in a WhatsApp group. Before midnight, the entire Facebook community had picked it up. Her name trended locally. People from her area shared the post. Salon girls were quoting her comments and laughing like hyenas. By morning, someone made a sticker of her face that said, No allow Cecilia near your business, so because if not, yeah, she couldn't go to the markets. She couldn't go online. She couldn't even go to fetch water at the public tap without hearing, Mama gist, you don't set? Cecilia for the first time in her life became quiet. No more noise, no more gist, and no more movement. She locked herself inside. Her eyes were swollen, her wig was always on the bedpost, and her phone was switched off. The same woman who once moved from post to post now couldn't even open Facebook again because she had finally become the headline, the viral sensation, and the disgrace she had once distributed to others. The people didn't pity her. They dragged her like tiger generator. They said, let her drink the garri she served others. This is not punishment. This is karma served cold with fried plantain. And you know the worst part? Nobody came to defend her. Not even one person, because a gossip never has true friends, only listeners and victims. Then after a month, Cecilia thought that the dragging was over, but she was wrong because one of her victims was not satisfied with the online disgrace alone. He wanted the offline version. His name was Ofure, a businessman, tall like street lights, with his chest like generator. Cecilia had once falsely accused him of using African way to collect people's wives. She dropped the comments under a random Facebook post. She even added, You see this one, eh? If you shake him too long, your destiny go follow body. I know him very well, so this is not capping. Her post cost him a relationship and nearly ruined his reputation in his office. He kept quiet when it trended, but he never forgot. Then one evening, as the sun was setting and children were returning home, Cecilia stepped out quietly to buy Indomie and groundnut oil. She wore a lace scarf and face cap like a criminal hiding in daylight. Just as she was handing over change. Boom! So you were the one that said I collect people's destinies, Abby? Before she could process it, one hot slap located her nose. Another reset her jaw. She tried to scream, but sand entered her mouth before words could come out. Ofure was dragging her like small generator wire. You want to destroy my life all because you know how to type, right? Today, you will explain that your comments on December 25th, the year 2021. He fed her with sand like Holy Communion, shouting, Make sure you post this one online too. By the time people separated them, Cecilia's wrapper was halfway on the road. Her left slippers had relocated to Togo. Her mouth was swollen like puff puff. Her eyes had double vision and her pride was finished. News went round that area like harmattan fire. People formulated a song from that incident. Cho cho cho, no good oh. When it became too much for Cecilia to handle, she packed out of that area without saying goodbye. She didn't even tell her landlord. She didn't tell the women at the salon. She didn't wait for anything. She just vanished. Her line was switched off as she deleted her Facebook account. The community rejoiced like NEPA brought light during rain. Some said she should go and start her gossip career in Sambisa. Others said even Satan will ask her to calm down small. But everyone agreed on one thing. Cecilia finally drank from the very bitter cup she served others, and this time, there was no sugar, no filter, and no backspace. For years, her mouth had been a blade, slicing through people's speech like ripe plantain. But now, the same mouth had tasted sand, slap, and shame, all in one episode. The woman who once mocked people in their pain had now become a walking proverb. She relocated to a new town where she was convinced no one knew her. She changed her number, deactivated her WhatsApp, and went on what I call a colossal silence. Weeks after her disappearance, she sat on a small mattress thinking. She told herself it was just a phase, that the shame would pass, that someone else's scandal would soon trend and erase her memory, but we didn't. Because now, even in a new place where no one knew her, the silence was speaking louder than the gossip ever did. One evening, sitting on the floor with a jotter in her hand, she wrote one question at the top of the page. What did I gain? She listed names of all the people whose stories she had spread. Mama Tessie, the woman who lost her job because Cecilia said she was stealing drinks. Omachi, whose wedding never happened. Deborah, who almost gave up on her boutique. Dennis, who is still single. And that pastor's wife who cried at the salon for being accused of sleeping with a choir member. She listed them all, and then she asked herself, Cecilia, what did you gain? No career, no husband, no reference, no savings, no peace, no purpose, no home, no pride, nothing. She had practically nothing apart from bad name. She was busy helping the devil scatter other people's lives and didn't notice that hers was crumbling too. She broke down and wept. She was scattered beyond repair. She thought of the man that once wanted to marry her. She remembered the business idea she had abandoned to chase gossip. She remembered the day her own cousin blocked her because she exposed her secret pregnancy. She remembered the saloon women who now used her name as an insult. Your mouth don't they run like Cecilia, oh no. She had truly and finally seen it. In the quest to scatter others, she scattered herself. Not a single piece of her life stood whole, just broken bits of what could have been. After months of hiding in shame, reflection and solitude, Cecilia slowly started to change. She didn't change because someone forced her to. She changed because she had truly lost everything, and in that loss, she had found something more valuable, herself. She stopped talking too much. She joined a small local fellowship and started volunteering quietly. She no longer sat where people gathered to scatter others. If someone tried to bring cheese, she would say, please, if we are not praying for them, then let's not talk about them. People who had heard about her matter laughed behind her back. Some said, come on now, let's give her time. A goat may wear lipstick, but it is still a goat. But Cecilia kept her head down because she had truly changed. One day, something strange happened. She met a man. His name was Mr. Raymond, a calm widower in his early 50s, a retired school principal with 2 grown children and eyes that had seen life. He didn't meet her as Cecilia the gossip. He met her as Cecilia the quiet woman. He liked her smile. He loved how she listened more than she spoke. He respected how she admitted her past with honesty. I didn't just fall from grace, she told him once. I crashed with full speed, but God cut the pieces. And to everyone's surprise, Mr. Raymond fell in love, but his children were not having it. Dad, please, you can't marry that woman because she trended online years ago for scandal. She scattered people's marriages with her mouth. If you get married to her, we will become a laughing stock. But Mr. Raymond stood his ground. You don't know her like I do. Besides, people change. Eventually, they got married. A quiet, simple wedding. No fanfare. No loud music, just a few close people to celebrate with them. Now, here is where it gets funny. After the wedding, his children never relaxed. They didn't hate her, but they refused to be careless. Every time they wanted to talk about something sensitive, they would pause and say, "Wait, is the door locked? Close the windows. Draw the curtain." Then one of them will whisper, "You know the words have no ears. It is humans that carry the news. And now that we have one in the house, even if she had changed, let's not tempt the devil, I beg." They didn't mean it harshly. It had just become their family's insurance policy. Cecilia didn't argue. She understood. She smiled and sometimes even laughed because now she knew that trust is not gifted, it is earned. And after you scatter it with your own hands, you must be patient enough to rebuild it brick by brick. Years passed, and slowly Cecilia won their hearts, not by pretending, but by being consistent, by choosing silence over sensation, and by becoming a woman of substance, not just sentences. Now, people who once mocked her story began to share it in hushed awe, not because it was scandalous, but because it was a proof that even the noisiest mouths can learn silence. It was a proof that even broken names can be restored. She gave birth to a girl and made sure the trait of talking too much was cut off from the very beginning because she didn't want her to become the old Cecilia. And thank God she was able to achieve that. Hey, African Tales by Camo Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. I hope you enjoyed the story. If yes, let me get to read from you, and don't forget to add what you learned from the story as well in the comments as I'll be responding to everyone. Before I leave today, I would like to say this. If there is one thing to take away from Cecilia's story, it is the fact that you don't need a weapon in your hand to destroy a life. Sometimes all it takes is a loose tongue. In a world already full of pain, your words can either be a healing balm or a leaking poison. The difference lies in intent, maturity, and discipline. Cecilia thought she was just sharing gist. She thought talking was harmless. She thought it wasn't her problem and that she wasn't responsible for the outcome. But when you open your mouth without boundaries, you open the door to disgrace, not just to others, but for yourself. She destroyed homes, ruined reputations, and laughed at people's secrets, only to find herself empty, jobless, humiliated, and alone. Gossip doesn't build you. It doesn't grow your business and it doesn't fix your own struggles. It only distracts you from fixing your life while helping the devil to break someone else's. And when your joy becomes tied to other people's downfall, you are not just misled, you are now dangerous. Let Cecilia's story be your mirror. Yes, she repented. Yes, she changed, but look at what it cost her. Years of regrets, public shame, and a marriage that came with caution. Because even when people forgive you, they may never forget the damage your words once did. So I ask you today, are you building with your mouth or breaking with it? Are you lifting others in love or pulling them down for entertainment? When people hear your name, do they sigh with relief or recoil in fear? Please answer these questions sincerely and adjust if need be. Your words are seeds. So carefully. Your mouth is a gate. Please guide it. And your legacy is being written daily with every comment, every conversation, and every whisper. Choose to be a voice of wisdom, not a microphone for destruction. Let your story be the one that people will remember, not for damage that you did, but for peace, maturity, and kindness that you carried, even when you had every reason to be loud. On this note, I sign out from today's story. Kindly give it a thumbs up and please don't forget to share out. You never can tell who you'll be helping with this story. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly click on that subscribe button to join the Karma tribe. And until I bring another exciting story your way, it is a goodbye from here. And God bless you.